Good morning, everyone. I hope you're doing great. It is the second to last week of school, the last full week of school, and next week will be, I think, like 2 days. It's a very low-key week. So this is really the last sort of major moment for us. And as promised, we are going to do a sort of crash course in Shakespeare. But I think it's going to be a pretty low-key, maybe even enjoyable experience for you guys. I am not going to ask you all to sit and read Romeo and Juliet in its entirety. That might be evil to have you do that on your own in a week. So we're not going to do that. And it's a bummer that you're not going to get to read Romeo and Juliet this year, but I think you have done some really wonderful work and read some really wonderful texts, and it's okay. It'll be okay, and you'll have much more Shakespeare in your regular, the rest of your school. So this week we are going to watch Romeo and Juliet, which really is how Shakespeare intended for Romeo and Juliet to be experienced. I don't think Shakespeare ever envisioned hundreds of years after writing his plays people would be sitting in classrooms reading them and parsing apart his language. I don't think that was really ever what Shakespeare was doing. He was doing something to be a play, to be seen, to be watched, to be enjoyed by people. And so that's what you're gonna do. Romeo and Juliet has been made into a billion different versions and adaptations, and I mean, they did the cartoon Romeo and Juliet a couple of years ago. I mean, it's just sort of ubiquitous. It's everywhere. So I picked 3 that I think are terrific, and you're gonna watch 3 versions this week. You have a couple of options. I emailed your parents this weekend about them, and they're also described in the checklist. But basically, you can come to these watch parties that I'm gonna host on Zoom. And I will share my screen, which will be showing the film, and you'll just watch along sort of by watching my screen. The downside to that is that you have to be there at the Zoom at the time that I'm showing it, and you can't kind of pick your own time and stuff like that, but it's free and it's easy, and you just log on to the Zoom. So that's 3 o'clock today, that's Monday, 3 o'clock tomorrow, that's Tuesday, and 3 o'clock Friday. And I'll be showing the 3 films. You can alternately just rent them on your own. They can be rented on YouTube. They can be rented on Amazon.com. Most of them you can rent through your cable provider, like if you have Comcast or Verizon. They usually have a rent program. Typically it's either $2.99 or $3.99 to rent a film. So total we're looking at probably about $9, $10, maybe $11. So if that's something that you guys are able to do, that might be an easier option, because then you can watch it at 3 o'clock in the morning if you want, or you can watch it, whenever is convenient for you, and you don't have to rely on my schedule. And you can pause halfway through and finish watching it the next day or whatever. Or you can do some combination, right? You can come to today's watch party but rent the other 2, or however you want to do it. It is critical that you watch these 3 films. That's basically the only task for this week. There's a short discussion post for each film, and that's it. That's the whole task. There's no writing assignment, there's no paragraph, there's no poem to write, there's no analysis. It's just watch the films, write a quick 3 to 5 sentence discussion post response, and comment on some classmates. I mean, I think that task is very, very quick. So please make sure you watch these films. It's really the main thing that I'm asking you to do this week. And I know it takes a little while to watch a movie, but they are great films. The first one is the Franco Zeffirelli sort of classic Shakespearean adaptation. It is widely renowned. I think it's the best one. A lot of people think it's the best one. It's very well acted. For you guys, it is more classical. It's less spicy and exciting. It goes a little bit more slowly. It might be the hardest one for you guys to watch because of that, but it is a really true, solid, excellent adaptation of the play. I'd like you to watch that one first, okay? Please make sure you watch that one first. Then you're gonna watch the modern version directed by Baz Luhrmann, which has Leonardo DiCaprio and Claire Danes in it. It's a really interesting, weird adaptation. You will notice that the Shakespearean language is still there. We're still hearing the Shakespeare. Baz Luhrmann still uses the Shakespeare as his script, but the setting has radically changed, the costumes have radically changed, the props have radically changed. And so what happens when we change all of those things, but we don't change the language? It's a really risky, sort of creative, bizarre move, and it's another version of the play that is widely loved by Shakespeare scholars, and I also really, really like it. Plus, Leonardo DiCaprio, Claire Danes, great actors, great cast, really well done. That one's action-packed, funny, fun. I think you'll enjoy it. And the third one is not Romeo and Juliet. It's a movie called West Side Story, which is sort of the most famous adaptation coming out of Romeo and Juliet. And it's a terrific film. It's really about two rival gangs, which is kind of similar to the two rival houses. And I think you'll hear echoes of the original Shakespeare when you watch that adaptation film. But we're not using the Shakespearean language anymore. Now we're using just regular, more modern English. But we have a lot of echoes of theme, of character, of setting, of place, of these sort of really critical elements of the original Shakespeare. So I want you to watch them in that order. First the classic, then the modern, then the adaptation. If you watch them on your own time, please watch them in that order. If you're watching them with me, I'm gonna show them in that order. And then there's just a discussion post. There's like a couple of really quick questions. It asks you to write 3 to 5 sentences, write the post, 2 comments, and that's the whole task for this week. Mostly I just want you to to see a little Shakespeare, to feel a little Shakespeare, and to watch how different directors, different people over time respond to Shakespeare, sort of take the Shakespeare and do something with it. That's really powerful stuff, and kind of interesting, and not a terrible way to end a school year. Thank you for your outstanding work so far. You guys are the most outstanding humans I know. I will see some of you at a watch party later today, but otherwise, just enjoy, have fun, watch some Shakespeare. Have a great week. Mrs. Park loves you.